We have a super awesome show today. So we have been watching our Facebook group, and we have been hearing a lot of new first-time puzzle mystery quilters. And so we thought it was time and it was due to kind of give an introduction to the program. And you're receiving those first packages, the what do I do next, the taking the elephant and taking one bite at a time. So I'm going to cover a whole bunch of what these packages include, but I'm going to love help from our audience. I know we've got super seasoned detectives out there watching our broadcast today. If I miss anything, if I skip anything, if you do anything different, or if you want to inject a little bit of that knowledge you have from being a master inspector of our detective team, definitely put it in the comments. We're going to use this video and take snippets and share it with our folks over time, because it's so we kind of get running and we get crunking and we're like, okay, it's clue 2, it's clue 3, it's clue 4. And we forget that there are some people who are doing this for the first time. And we want to make sure that everyone has a positive experience from the very beginning. Okay, I want to take a minute and thank everyone for all of your patience this past month. It has been an adventure, to say the least, getting all of our Cotton Cuts packages to you guys. There's been a lot that has taken a scenic route. It's gone from St. Louis to Washington to Boston to its final destination in Florida. It has been a whirlwind, to say the least. Everyone's doing their best to make sure that everything that we make makes it to you as quickly and efficiently as possible. Okay, so as mentioned, so we've had a lot of people post in our Cotton Cuts Fabric Facebook group about being a first-time puzzle mystery detective. And so we decided, why don't we ask you guys? We've got a lot of folks that have been doing these for a long time. And so we have 3 answers that we're going to share with everybody, just to kind of kick off this section of the broadcast. So Carrie Davidson in our Facebook group suggested that when you get your first mystery, she always lays out the pieces as they're supposed to look when the piece is finished. It helps me visualize, but I can also easily see if I'm missing a piece right at the start. So Carrie, I take the same approach. I open my package, I look at clue 1, which we'll show you here, and I actually lay everything out just like these images, right? And so it helps me to like you said, make sure I have everything from the beginning. Believe it or not, this fabric likes to jump around. It jumps around in the shop. It jumps off die cutters. It jumps out of clues. I've actually found one, I'm embarrassed to say, like I was sitting on it, or like it was under my iron, like I had pressed a piece and it got stuck to the bottom of the iron. Guys, these pieces like to move. And I think Carrie's suggestion is spot on, is once you first get your clue, is definitely check this inventory here on the bottom. This will tell you all the colors. It'll tell you the quantity you need of each piece. And I do exactly what she suggests. I lay all this out just to make sure I have all the pieces and make sure I understand how it's supposed to lay out. Because I've definitely, for example, taken this C triangle and switched it up with a B. Laying it out helps. Carry that as a fantastic fantastic tip and trick. Guys, it's really, I mean, I can look at a picture and create it as well. So Carrie, that is fantastic. Thank you for that suggestion. Patty Probst suggests, make sure you have your colorway pamphlet that shows each fabric's code and what it looks like. This pamphlet is invaluable. Okay, so let's talk about this pamphlet for a little bit. So this pamphlet is specific to each colorway. And so it has the colorway fabrics on the color on the front, and it has kind of a visual image. Most seasoned detectives know that if you ever get stuck and you can find this image, this first image here is your fabric A, and it goes clockwise around. So it's A, B, C, D, E, and F. And the 6 o'clock is always your binding fabric. Always, always, always. If that ever changes, so help me. But literally, this is A. It goes all the way around clockwise, and this is your binding fabric. So if you do get stuck, if you do get to Patty's point and you lose track of what fabric is which, that is the way we do it. It keeps it easy. So for example, in this colorway in Woodland, you can see that this fabric here, this E, is the same as the binding. And so that's why in some of the color wheels, you'll see a color more than once, because it is used in the quilt, but it's also, it was so beautiful, we decided to use it for the binding. And so it is kept here as well. Now on the inside of this booklet, tons of tips and tricks. And so this is something we've gleaned from over the years of like, little things that you guys should just know. I know we get these and they get chucked in a box and we forget about it. I would encourage even the most seasoned folks to definitely take a look and read these tips and tricks and see what things have changed, what things are good reminders as you begin each project. It also does talk about if something's not quite right. If, say, you got a clue 2 instruction instead of a clue 1, or you're missing this book, or any reason, it tells you how to reach out to our support. And so the quickest and fastest way to get help is to go to cottoncuts.com/PMQ-support. And so we answer those daily. If you put something in that request, you are getting your replacement parts the next day. You might not get a reply. There's always an auto reply that says, thank you so much for submitting, so you know it was submitted correctly. But our team receives those. We put your 2 parts and pieces in the mail and they go out the next day. You might not get a reply, like I said, but it doesn't mean nothing has happened. We like to keep it moving efficiently as possible to get you back to sewing as quickly as we can. We also have the dates in here at which all the clues will ship. So we oftentimes get a question of like, hey, when's clue 2 ship? Hey, when's clue 3 ship? Guys, those dates are all here. So that way everyone can see them from the very beginning. And then it also talks about when renewals happen. So if you are a month-to-month member, it just tells you that renewals for this mystery happen the 10th of the month. So that way you can check those credit card statements, make sure everything went through cleanly. We do it on the 10th to give time for any credit cards that have been or misplaced or anyone that's moved to get into the system before the next clue ships. We talked about our Facebook group here. If you aren't in that group, you guys are missing out. Definitely hop on over and join that group. And then this is the part that Patty was talking about. Sorry, that was a long, circuitous way to get to Patty's tip. So this on the back of the card actually talks about what all the different fabrics are. And so on the top of the card, we talk what the collection is. So that's often a question we get is, who designed the fabric that I'm sewing with? What is the collection? How do I find more? We give you that information right there from the very beginning so you can source alternate fabrics for the back, et cetera, et cetera. And then we label all the fabrics. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, and F on the back. And then we also have how to sign up and if you have any questions, right? So this is invaluable. So what we've started doing with Tree of Life is actually emailing this to you electronically. So that way you have it. Say you're at a retreat and you grabbed your clue 7 that just came in the mail and you wanted to take and sew it and you forgot this. It is now electronically in your account. You can log in and pull this up for you. Download it, put it wherever you need it to be. We also recommend folks taking a picture of the back of this card. Get your cell phone out, take the photo. That way you'll always have it in your photos. That way, in case you're traveling or abroad, you definitely have it. We will also mail this to you if you did not get this, or perhaps you didn't realize this was on the back. We will happily put another one in the mail to you. Like I said, you really can't do much without this book because this is kind of your key that you need to solve it. And so reach out to us and our team will definitely get it to you. And also, if as you're going through this, you want to buy any more of these fabrics, our help team will give you the actual product SKUs for any of these. So I know in some of the colorways, it's hard to tell if it's blue or navy and you want to be sure. Our team will take care of you. Just reach out and we'll get you all those partners. Okay. Patty, that was a great tip. Thank you so much for describing the importance, especially as a new quilter, of that little booklet. There is so much information there, you guys. All right, so this is a fun one. So Becky Harrington, so she itemized out the steps for when you receive each of your puzzle mystery clues each month. This is good, guys. And I think, Becky, I'm aligned with you in your approach. Okay, so step 1. Receive the clue, open the package, and pull out the fabric. We're off to a strong start, folks. Try not to handle the fabric too much as some pieces are cut on the bias and stretch. So that just means on the triangles, when we've die cut them, we've cut them crosswise to the grain, and so they might stretch. So just don't touch them too much. They also fray too. Some of the fabrics might fray a little bit if you handle them too much. So it's a good tip, Becky. Thank you for that. Step 2, identify the pieces of the clue and label them. Okay, so we actually have these cute little handy dandy little markers in the shop. They're stitch markers from It's So Emma. And our team is a big fan of using these. And just when we lay out the fabric, we just put it right on top. And that way we know exactly what's A and B, C, D, E, and F. And we can keep track of it. Fantastic tip, Becky. All right, step 3, lay the pieces of the clue out before sewing. Make sure that you have a 1/4 inch foot or have your 1/4 inch marked on your machine. Sew a scrap piece to make sure that your stitches are even and the correct length. Make sure that your machine is oiled and bobbin is full and not looping when you sew the scrap. These are all fantastic, like Becky, whenever you start any project, to make sure your machine is oiled, make sure you have a full bobbin, make sure you've changed your needle at the start of every project, make sure you have that 1/4 inch presser foot that we started talking about at the beginning. Fantastic. Step 4, guys, this is when it gets to like how I sew. Drink a glass of wine or your favorite beverage choice and enjoy the creation of your clue. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I have learned the hard way, though, that if you do choose to have a glass of wine by your sewing machine, make sure it has a lid. Yeah, I've knocked that over. It is not great. However, vodka is great at getting red wine out of carpet. Insider tip. Okay, step 5. Put your clue away in acid-free paper and a storage container with a note of the designated area where you placed it. That's good too, right? How often have we sewn a clue and it's clue 1 and 10 months later we can't find it because it got sucked over here and put in this other bin? I love the actual designated area where you placed it. We've asked this question in our group a couple times. How do you sew clues after you've sewn them? A lot of people put them inside the paper, so they'll actually take the clue and they sew their parts and pieces. And I actually have one here that I can show you guys. So you do this and you have your like clue 1 and you put your little fabric on the inside and keep it together. Some people put it back into the clear poly bag that Cotton Cuts mails it in. And then a lot of people get those 12 by 12 plastic scrapbook containers and keep them in there. The most creative idea that I've heard over the years is someone will go to their local pizza shop and get a pizza box. Get a clean one. That's obviously you don't want one that's had pizza in it, guys. Like get one that has not had any pizza in it, and then you can actually marker on the box what it is, and you can keep all your pieces flat. The downside to folding up and putting inside the paper is then you have to iron it again, and it gets to Becky's point about not handling it too much. So the pizza box, you can keep everything nice and flat, and you don't have to worry about ironing it when you go to put it together in the end. All right, step 6, enjoy another glass of wine or beverage of your choice. Sit and relax with your quilt companion until the next clue arrives and repeat all the steps again. Becky, I love this. This is a fantastic description. And it's fun because that is exactly what the process is for putting together the mystery quilts each week. Okay. So with that, let me kind of walk through what it is like to actually make a mystery quilt. And so my table here, the team has done a fantastic job at laying out each of the individual pieces and then putting little like putting the alphabets on them, right? So like laying them out. I am a big fan. Like keep all your A's together, keep all your B's together, keep all the C's together, and then that way it gets really easy. And then in the instructions, right, as we've heard from our experienced detectives, you want to mock lay out what you see here. And so what I am going to actually do is I'm going to create that. It was really, really simple. So I am going to assume that it's going to be simple to lay out live and hopefully not fall off the stool I'm sitting on or anything embarrassing like that. So it is a strip. And so I'm going to get my A big triangle and I'm going to place it here. And then I have a lot of C coming up. And so I am going to assume that this is C. And so it gets, so these are flying geese. And so I'm going to assume it gets a shoulder here. And then it's going to get another shoulder over here. And then when I look at the instructions, the C is going to get 2 parts are going to get a short strip and 2 parts are going to get a long strip. And so I am going to lay it out like this. And so that way, when I get to the section of the instructions where I'm sewing it, I can put these 2 pieces together, sew it, press it. The instructions are very good at showing me how to actually press this component. There's arrows. We always put an arrow to show you which way to press your seam. Super important. Just kind of give up the control that you want to press to the dark side or you want to press open. In the instructions, there is always, always, always a direction in which you should press your seams. I'm going to actually show you for this unit that I just laid out. And so you can see the arrows there show you which way to press your seams. It's super important to trust the process because that seam is going to nest with a future seam that we haven't sewn yet. And so press it the way it is. And that final assembly, all those seams are going to lock together and you get beautiful points. And so, yeah, so this is kind of what everyone was talking about was lay out this unit and lay them all out. I'm not going to do it here, but you guys get the idea. And then when you sew them together and press them for the instructions, you're going to end up with these lovelies here. And so this is actually the piece we just laid out with the shorter arm, and then the piece with the longer arm. And these have all been pressed per the instructions. There is another block that's part of clue one. It's more complex. I think you guys get the idea and the concept. And I guess we can talk about my design board a little bit. So this is literally just a piece. It's a whiteboard that I just put batting on. It doesn't need to be anything big or extensive for this project. That's part of the things I like about it is since it's so small, it is pretty portable. I can use a small little design wall like this. You could also just lay it out on your cutting mat as well that you're not using because you don't have to cut anything because we've done it all for you. Now, one of the most common questions we get asked is, I'm not making a block, right? I'm used to making a block of the month at my quilt shop. And I'm used to it being like, this is the block I'm going to make this month. We don't call our puzzle mystery quilt a block of the month because it's not a block of the month. You are making puzzle mystery pieces that you are then going to sew together at the end in a random fashion. And so I like to think of it as like I showed you 4 strips. There's also 4 other large blocks. Wow, this is a large clue, guys. Clue one is large. There's 4 of these guys, right? And so it's important that you label them because at the end, we're going to tell you to sew one of those clue one blocks to a clue 4, to a clue 6, to a clue 8. And it's going to be like a jigsaw puzzle. That final clue is so much fun to put together because it's not one of those quilts where I'm just sewing this block next to this block, next to this block, next to this block, and it's monotonous. And I, press one this way, press one this way. It is definitely like a jigsaw puzzle. And it's a lot of fun because you're looking at these parts and pieces, and the way you sew them together in the instructions is not the way they're going to go in the final quilt. So you're rotating it, twisting it. And for those that like to solve puzzles, it's kind of fun to play with it and kind of rotate this piece around and see what you can come up with and create. I know Ian, I'm going to mention Ian, is a big fan of kind of playing with it and turning them over in his rind. And some people are very spatial and can do that. And it's awesome. Okay. What else am I going to say about this guy? Right. So definitely the most important thing once you get these guys done is to make sure you label them. Labeling them is going to help you in the final assembly. And I know it's like, oh, it's clue one. I'll remember it's clue one. It is important to know that this is 1A. And so there's a lot of different ways people have done this. I'm sure some folks will put in the comments tips and tricks that they've had for labeling these blocks. I don't suggest using anything that's adhesive based since this is going to be sitting in a box for 9 months. This is clue one. It's going to be sitting for 9 months until you get back to it. I would suggest, a piece of paper. Sometimes you can straight pen a piece of paper. I've even gotten these cute little like flower cardstock cutouts and put like 1A and kind of pinned it to it. You could also do like a clover clip with a piece of paper that's non-adhesive. Just make sure they're clearly labeled. Your future self is going to thank you for clearly labeling them today. It's going to make it a lot easier when you get to that clue 10 and you're so excited and you just want to sew it together. You don't want to have to be pulling out these pieces of paper and trying to remember which is which. All right. Let me see. I'm sure there's things I've missed. I'm hoping you guys are hopping in the comments, but guys, it's a lot of fun. And I think, we really hit it when we were like, when Becky was talking about like, just sew them together and have fun and then sit back and then wait another month. I like to do 3-4 months at a time because I kind of like to lay them all out and sew them all together. I'm a strip piecer, so I just feed them through my machine. I know Amber did a great little tutorial about how she was a beginner quilter and some of the challenges she faced. I know Beth at Goody Goods was talking about how she likes to just sit and just feed the pieces in her machine. It's a lot of fun, guys. No matter how you have fun, it is always going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So definitely check the comments, especially if you're a first time PMQer, and see what other people are saying. We're all here to have fun and it's going to be a great time. And just comment with what is the biggest tip and trick you can share with anyone about any of the Cotton Cuts puzzle mystery quilts and why. And then give us a story about it. I love learning and sharing as a community. So let's all help each other grow. And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world, Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new, fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon.